Hi, it's Michelle. I am coming to you from a video instead of an email today to see if it's easier. I just ran out of steam and was feeling adrenalized by the concept by the, of having to write. And so I thought, let's see if we can do video. I don't know if it's that much easier, but hopefully it's dynamic for you. So today we're working with the throat chakra. It's our last installment of the throat. We're going to work with sound as well. And Teresa of Avila is our inspiration. She was born in 1515, and she is the nun who experienced a divine orgasm and transformed spirituality. I love that title. That is from an article that I read. And basically, she was trying to share that there is more than just being righteous and morally virtuous to being connected to God. There's also a passion that can be felt in an earthly way and it can even be a pleasurable experience. And so she is most known for this and loved for it, actually. She brought more of a human element as a result. And she, I guess, grappled with her humanity also. She wanted to be as devout as possible, but she wasn't going to pretend and try to be something that she wasn't. And that was one of her first, I mean, she entered the convent when she was 21 in Avila. So she was like, dove right in and started reforming the monastery that she was in because she found the hypocrisy. And so she was already speaking out on what she thought was not the, she felt that the devotion of nuns to God was the least important priority at this monastery, and that it was more about providing a way for noble people to feel connected to God by, I don't know, maybe they gave money and that made them important, and the church, the monastery is more interested in, public image. So she changed that and she actually reformed 14 monasteries. She was on a mission, and she's great for the throat chakra because she wrote prolifically. She wrote at least 20 volumes of theology, philosophy, poetry. She was really wanting to teach and bring spirituality into a practical, everyday kind of experience so that there wasn't this huge gap. So she was teaching her nuns as well as her, um, you know, regular people. So she also preached all over the country using her actual voice. Um, so she's a great inspiration for the throat chakra. And just going to show you, this is a lot of artists were very inspired by her, um, this passionate experience that she was having with God. It happened, she joined the convent when she was 21. And then soon after, she was walking down the corridor and just stood in front of a statue of Jesus. And she felt this emotion rise up to her heart, leaving her with, um, made her feel fulfilled and peaceful. So that to me feels like a Kundalini experience, perhaps a tantric, energetic, semi-orgasmic experience. And this is really interesting in relationship to parthenogenesis and divine birth. Um, Marguerite Rigoglioso says that the nuns were sort of an evolution of those divine birth priestesshoods, but they just had devolved in many ways in terms of that ability to procreate, create this baby out of nothing, and the sexual aspect. So, but I think that there's some codes here where we see this nun in particular who is having an orgasmic experience, which is necessary for divine birth. So, of course, I can't not talk about divine birth, but I think that Teresa was tapping into something, and she happened to be extremely prolific with her work. So, I do believe she is emblematic of this lineage where she's not creating a baby, but she is creating a huge body of work, which eventually led to her being canonized 40 years after she was dead, became a saint. And then in 1970, she was awarded the Doctor of Theology title, which is the first time, there's two women who were nominated, who were named at that time. Hildegard came a few decades later, and there's only 4 women who've ever made this title. So, I mean, whatever she was doing in this practice with, her devotion to God, that involved this passion, and I'll tell you more about the experience. Okay, so this is her writing. She's writing her experiences, and here's a passionate. It's like she's in a state of passion in this beautiful sculpture while she's writing. There's something about that left arm, hand, that is so big. There's just something where she's receiving through the hand, it feels. It's really gorgeous. And here is an actual sculpture of her most famous spiritual experience that has been written about. So I'm just going to move myself down here. And she says, "In his hands I saw a great golden spear, and at the iron tip there appeared to be a point of fire. This he plunged into my heart several times, so that it penetrated to my entrails. When he pulled it out, I felt he took them with it, and left me utterly consumed by the great love of God. The pain was so severe that it made me utter several moans. The sweetness caused by this intense pain is so extreme that one cannot possibly wish it to cease. Nor is one's soul content with anything but God. This is not a physical but a spiritual pain, though the body has some share in it, even a considerable share." So she's really bringing the body into this spiritual experience, and to the point of pleasure, that this is really radical. And you can see she's in this, all of her drapery is like having an orgasm with her, it seems. Really beautifully done. This is also showing the gold light coming from God coming down into her. Again, to me, it just feels like a really incredible tantric orgasm, although pain is not necessarily involved usually that I know of. So she's definitely describing a very unique spiritual experience that would love to hear other theologians talk about it, especially somatically aware ones. So, she's talking about moaning, and you can't possibly wish it to cease, and she's consumed. These are really, it's a sexual kind of language. So this did not go over that well in her time. This was very controversial, and her fact that she was poking at how the church was so corrupt also did not go in her favor. And she did actually have to appear in front of the Inquisition. The 16th century was the peak of the Inquisition, and so she had to show up. And somehow she managed to pray or petition the king, and he gave her, let her go. And she just didn't stop doing what she was innovating. She just kept going. So she was a bold lady, bold woman. Okay, so here's just another image of her getting inspiration from God through a dove. And a dove is a parthenogenetic image. The dove has been used throughout all these ancient illustrations in Greece, and Marguerite has written a lot about the imagery of the dove. So a purity and spirituality. And here's the dove again, and she's older. Um, and so she's a great inspiration for us. And I want to talk a few more things about the throat, that it is actually capable of an orgasm. And the throat can actually secrete an ejaculate. That is totally wild to me. So, not that we're going to be attempting to do that, but again, our practice of opening up the throat is connected to the potential of the throat. And women who have been able to have these experiences, often it's, in a sexual situation with a man's penis down their throat. Pretty intense. What I want to point out, though, is that there's this incredible surrender. Like, this is probably the most surrendered a woman has to be, because her airway is being blocked. It can also be done with a finger, apparently. So just wanted to plant a seed. We're not going to be doing that, but because Teresa talks about moaning, I wanted to talk about moaning also as a sound that is helpful for opening up the yoni channel up to the throat. The throat and the yoni are completely connected here. So we will be connecting these two. And I had a really intense healing session 2 days ago. I had a memory of sexual abuse, assault, that I had never realized very consciously that it was assault. I did for moments here and there, but then to actually go through it somatically and have the emotion come up around it. And I have to say, I was being asked in my session to say something, to if I could redo the situation, what would I say? How would I stand up for myself? And in the beginning, I really could not speak much. It was kind of forcing it out of my throat because I was being asked to do it. And the more I progressed in the session, and he was working with me to be more in my body, the more I actually did connect to my yoni and was able to speak with so much force and strength and conviction and belief that I deserved to stand up for myself. In the beginning, I didn't think, well, I didn't have a choice and I had to do it, and I had to be nice because I worked with this guy, or I knew him from work, a bar that I was working in. This is a long time ago. Anyway, so I just really got a visceral connection of how connected your throat and your yoni are in order to be able to stand up for your truth and to protect yourself, to have boundaries, to say what you want, to say what you don't want. So this is all encompassed in our exploration in terms of working with sound, the throat, the yoni, and the womb. And it's going to be a powerful class. I hope you can join us. And if you can't, you can get the replay. All right. Hope to see you in class. Bye-bye.